Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to achieve this smoky winged liner paired with this really deep red lip. This week I purchased the Elizabeth Arden 8 Hour Lip Balm. I didn't realise that this came as a lip balm stick. I've had the 8 Hour cream before, which is fantastic, and this is brilliant. So I've been using it all week, and as we're using a matte lipstick, we want to make sure our lips are well moisturised. I've applied moisturiser and SPF to my skin. Now I'm going to go in with the Faux Filter Concealer by HUDA Beauty. Underpainting, which means to apply products underneath your foundation, has become a trend of recent because of Mary Phillips, but this is something I've been doing on my channel for many years. And the reason I love to do it is because it does give you the most natural finish. It just means you're applying less layers to your skin and you're using less product. So I've put my concealer on all the areas that I've got redness or unevenness. I tend to get red around my nose, and I'm definitely getting some darkness on the inner corner of my eyes. This is a great concealer because it really is undetectable on the skin, but because it has high pigment, it really does add coverage. But it's not cakey like old school concealers that have high coverage used to be like. This is so lightweight. The shade I'm using is Coconut Flakes, and this one works quite well for me. You can see it's not too dissimilar to my skin tone. You can see it's got a little bit more of a yellow undertone compared to my skin when I've got no foundation on. But we are going to be using a foundation that's darker than the skin today because I feel like we're in the middle of winter and I want to add some colour to my skin to feel like I'm not so pale. So I'm going to use a foundation that will give me a little bit of colour today. So I've blended that in with a damp beauty blender, and as you can see the skin looks so much more even. So now we're going to move on to adding some warmth to the skin. I'm going to use Bondi Bay by Nude Sticks. If you've never used these products, you must give them a go. They are fantastic. This will look a little bit crazy to begin with, but you have to trust the process. I do have a Nude Sticks discount code if you want to try them. They are my favourite. As you know, if you've followed me for years, they are in so many of my tutorials. I have to refrain from using them so often because I feel like you guys want to see other products, because I would always reach for Nude Sticks otherwise. I'm going in with one of my favourite brushes, which is in every single tutorial. It's the IT Cosmetics number 7 brush. I'm using that to buff in the Nude Sticks Bondi Bay. This is definitely going to look a lot more orangey on the skin before foundation, whereas if you apply this over foundation, it doesn't have such an orange undertone to it. It definitely appears more like a traditional bronzer shade. This is actually the cool shade out of the 2 nudies bronze that they offer. One is called Terracotta Tan, which is a lot warmer. And this on the skin when you've got foundation on first doesn't look this orange. It won't look like this once we're finished, so do not panic. This is why I love this brush, because the bigger side works well on larger areas of the face, whereas the dual-ended side that's slightly smaller works great when you're working on smaller areas such as the nose, or if you're working with cream-based products around the eye socket. So I've bounced the beauty blender over the nose area to soften it slightly, but don't worry too much at this stage when it comes to making sure that everything's well blended, because that's not the important part. The next stage is going to help with that blending process. Just attempt to make it look softer, and then you can do the perfecting part when we move on to foundation. The foundation I'm going to use is by Haus. This is the Triclone Skin Tech Foundation. As I mentioned, this is more my summer colour rather than my skin tone now, but I really want something that's going to boost my mood and make me feel a little bit like I've got a bit of colour. Spring's definitely on the way, but we're not quite there yet. But this will make me feel a little bit better. So as you can see, I've dabbed that on the areas that we've not applied any of the other products. It's a bit like paint by numbers. We're filling in the areas that we've not applied any of the other products yet. And to do that, we're going to bounce the beauty blender over. Again, make sure your beauty blender is dampened, because this will really help with the blending process. So I'm bouncing around the contour shade. I'm not going over that straight away. Instead, once I've blended that into the skin that we haven't applied any of the other products, I'm going to use what's left on it like this and bounce over. That way we've got a very fine layer. We're not building up too much product here, but it's softening what we've already applied. When it came to the concealer, I was quite strategic on where I placed it, so I haven't got too much going on around my eyes. I tend to use just foundation on a daily basis rather than concealer because I don't have particularly dark circles. However, if you need to apply more concealer around the eyes, then use what's left on your sponge when you bounce over that concealer, so again, you're not applying too many layers. I love this foundation. At the point of buying this when it first came out, it wasn't available in the UK, and I bought it when I had a bit more colour to my skin, so that's why I don't have a lighter shade to use with my winter skin, so I was quite happy because it would give me a bit of colour today. However, I would like to get this foundation in a slightly lighter shade for the winter months because it is beautiful on the skin, very undetectable, Looks so much like skin but gives you that coverage. I'm not entirely sure if it's sold within the UK as of yet. If it is, I will link it down below. I did buy it from America because they do ship worldwide, so I will still link it, and if you're in the UK you can purchase it directly from Haus Labs. And I should mention there wasn't any customs duties to be paid when it came, so that was really good. Okay, so we are nearly there. As you can see, I left the nose till last. You can still see the contour underneath. I will perfect it a little bit more, but everything is a lot softer. So now I want to set everything in place because I am a oily combination skin type, and if I leave it like this, my oils are going to make this way more dewy than it needs to be. So today I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Setting Powder in the shade Sugar Cookie, which is their translucent shade. And I'm using a powder puff to press this into the skin because I feel like this gives the most airbrushed finish. You can use a brush and you can dust off the excess. I just feel like this really presses it into the skin. You get the most flawless finish when you use a powder puff. I've not applied any of this underneath my eyes, but I have applied some to the top of my eye, and you can really see the difference between the side that's not been set, which is really glowy, and then this side. Off camera, I filled in my eyebrows using my Urban Decay brow blade, which you guys know I absolutely love. It just gives the most natural finish, and I will link the tutorial or the playlist for my eyebrow tutorials on screen for you. You can click the top right to view those. I've just set those in place with my Benefit 24-hour clear brow gel. I don't know how many years I've been using this, but I just have not changed it because I love it. Moving on to the eyes, I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Life Liner in the shade Very Brown. I love this. Initially when you use it, it starts to feel a little bit dry, but don't be despondent with it because if you place it upside down when you're not using it, the ink will run down and it will keep reviving itself. Mine lasted me way longer than any other eyeliner pen I've ever owned. I'm looking down into a mirror and I'm taking that from the very inner corner of my eye all the way to the outer corner, and I'm going to create quite a large wing on the outer edge. Again, this is one of those where you have to trust the process because the thick liner like this might not look so good, but once you smoke it out, it's great. However, you will need to decide on the thickness depending on your eye shape. I'm using a matte brown from the NARS Mojave palette. You can use any matte brown eyeshadow. I really love this palette, so much so I have two of them. This little dark patch on it is where I use the Inglot Duraline. I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills No. 3 brush to work that directly over the eyeliner that we've already applied, and then using what's left to smoke it upwards. I'm only taking it about 1 millimeter higher than the liner that we've already applied. I like this brush because it is pointed, so you can be really precise with it, and it really works well with creams and powders. As you can see, I've taken that right to the very tip of the wing and then about halfway across the liner towards the inner corner of the eye. Much like when we were applying our liquid liner, you want to look down into a mirror when you're doing this, that way your lid's not crinkled. I'm then taking a small brush that's clean and buffing over the very edge of the eyeshadow, keeping it where we've placed it but just buffing the seam so it blends into the foundation and concealer that we've got on the eyelid and looks softer. Whenever I do a red lip, I always tend to opt for something quite simplistic on the eyes because the lip itself is the bold statement of this look. This will have a slight twist to it. Having a smoked liner with eyeliner along the lower waterline but with no mascara still keeps it relatively simplistic, but adds something to the eyes that's a little bit different to what I've created before. I know this eye look won't be for everybody, however if you are going to create it, definitely try it in the brown tones because it's a lot more flattering and not as harsh as using black. I'm going back to the Mojave palette and taking the lightest shade and applying this on the inner corner of the eyes just to add a subtle highlight. This little brush is from Huda Beauty, but any little brush will do. You just want it to be really subtle so it just brightens this area and doesn't compete with the eyeliner that we've applied. It just needs to be subtle. This is a great trick if you're somebody whose eyes are quite close set as well. I'm going to use another Huda Beauty product today. This is her new Creamy Kohl pencil in the shade Very Brown, and I'm going along the waterline with this. I did debate about leaving the waterline with nothing on and just making this about the liner and mascara because I'm not going to apply any false eyelashes today. Again, trying to do something different. I really love wearing just mascara on my top eyelashes, and by not applying any mascara on the lower eyelashes, it really does make something of your top lashes without the need for false eyelashes. The mascara I'm going to use is the new L'Oreal Telescopic Lift Mascara. I can't tell you how much I'm enjoying this, it's so good. You do get a tiny bit of flaking every now and again, but it's nothing major. For the price and for the fact that it really does make a lot of your natural lashes, I'm really enjoying it. So this is one coat and it is buildable. What I would say is you need to build on it quite quick because it does set in place. Moving back onto the face, I'm going to take the Lisa Eldridge Enhance and Define Lip Pencil in the shade Duchess, which is this beautiful modern day 1940s red, and it has a blue undertone to it, which is really great because it does help to make the teeth look a lot whiter. As you know, I don't tend to use lip colours very often. When I do wear a red, it's usually only for you guys, and I don't tend to wear anything too bright, and I love the deepness of this Velvet Duchess, also by Lisa, which is the matching lip colour to the liner. This is a velvet finish. It is beautiful. It has the most gorgeous texture around the edging. So I'm going to blot off my Elizabeth Arden 8 Hour Cream. And then I'm going to fill in my lips using this Velvet Duchess shade. I should note this is a cruelty-free lipstick, and also Lisa does ship worldwide. There are a couple of countries she can't ship to, which are listed on the website. But if you have not tried her products yet, what are you waiting for? You are missing out. These are insane. They are my favouriteest lipsticks ever. They are so velvety. The pigment payoff is incredible, and they are so comfortable to wear. Now I've allowed my mascara to completely dry, I'm going to very lightly crimp them with my Refa eyelash curlers, and you'll see the difference. It really does give a lift, which I feel like is important considering we're not using eyelashes, and I feel like not applying mascara to my lower eyelashes really does help to make the most of my natural lashes with mascara just on the top set. I'm sorry there's no change this week when it comes to bronzer. I'm still using my favourite powder bronzer by Bare Minerals in the shade Faux Tan. This is the Endless Summer Bronzer. I've used it for so many years and I can't change it up because it's my favourite shade. It's the only one that I feel like doesn't give that orange tone to the skin. I must say, now I think back to when we first applied the Nudestix Bondi Bay to the skin without any foundation, and it looked like it was never going to blend in and nothing would look natural. Now look how soft everything looks on the skin. I am sorry here because I'm using a brand that's no longer available as a standalone brand. This is by Becca. This is one of their original highlighters. It was a Parisian one that they brought out as a limited edition, and I love it. And actually it's probably only the second time I've used it because I don't often reach for highlighter, but for this look I feel like it's necessary. You can of course use any highlighter. You may already know that Smashbox did pick up Becca and they re-released some of their popular items. They did a new rerun of the Champagne Pop, but I believe they called it C Pop. Whenever I use a powdered highlighter, I like to press that into the skin with my beauty blender because it softens it and helps to take away that frosted finish. I'm going to use another Nudestix product. This is the Nudies Bloom in the shade Poppy Girl. You can also use my 10% discount code to purchase the Nudies Bloom. I think you can use it site-wide, so use it on anything. And I'm popping a small amount of this, like a very tiny amount, on the apples of the cheeks and blending it back towards the bronzer shade and within that highlighter. So we get a nice amalgamation of those colours, but they're so lightly applied that they don't become a muddy mess. So pretty. I love this. I'm going to take a small amount of the bronzer that we applied on my Lisa Eldridge blending brush, and I'm running that through the socket of the eye. Again, a very light layer just to add something up here. This step is completely optional. I just decided at the last minute I wanted something just through the socket. Because it is the same bronzer we've used on the skin, it just helps to pull everything together. And then that completes this week's tutorial. I absolutely love this look. I love the simplicity of it. I love the bold red lip. And it's really nice to wear something where I'm only wearing mascara and no eyelashes, and instead made the most of our own eyelashes. If I can find a dupe for the highlighter, I will list and link it below for you. If you guys know of any dupes, then do let me know in the comment section. Just showing off how white my teeth look with this lipstick. So I will list and link all the products I've used alongside any discount codes all in the description bar for you. There will be links for both UK, US and usually worldwide. Please subscribe if you're new to my channel. Come follow me over on Instagram at ShowMeMakeup, and I'll see you on Monday with a short and Thursday with another look. Bye guys!